we are moving in a new era of AI. In 2025, we were moving from the ChatGPT interface to the more agentic AI. Beginning of 2026 was all about OpenClaw and AI that can operate within your computer. Now, a lot of companies added this functionality, like Anthropic added this to co-work and their tools. I need to say this thing. They copied the open source for then stopping open source to using their product. Anyway, that is the where we are at the moment. But then now we are facing this other challenge. Okay, first, of course, we still are in the challenge of actually making those AI do what we want. But then there is now the frontier of say, okay, I have one agent that works. I can add 1, 2, 3 more agents to work for me. And already you can see the exponential growth about this, having dedicated agents that work in specific part of your business. But then you realize, okay, but now I can do more. And now we are moving to the small team of AI agents to the swarm of AI agents. So the end of last summer, I've been talking about the swarm business model. The idea is to not having one single business, by having a lot of different business managed by a lot of different small teams of AI. The first objective is the one of building businesses that they can offer services to each other. So I'm gonna give you this idea on where the direction is going, because it's true that now at the moment we're still struggling with those AI agents to actually follow the instruction, to actually do what we ask them to do. The truth is still an architectural problem. If you understand the limits of the LLM, then you build an architecture that can manage those limits. What is frustrating here is that we would like to just delegate. Okay? We would like just to say, okay, do this for me. And it's not working. So we need to go back, pen and paper, write the architecture, design exactly what are the steps that are needed to be done, what are the tasks that need to be done, and write protocols, fortify those protocols, and make them as deterministic as possible, so not managed by AI. And those parts that require intelligence, then you give AI the intelligence, the freedom to work within the parameters. Now, if you build this properly, which is not easy, if you build this properly, you have now a small team of agents that can operate with a margin of error, because there's no total control. And if you cage them too tight, then they can't use intelligence at all. So you go back to a software. So you need to keep this cage kind of loosey. So a structure that is loosey, where AI can move around, make mistakes, unfortunately, but can move around and achieve what is needed. That is the kind of architecture we are building at the moment. But now you say, okay, I have this architecture that is more or less stable, more or less does what I want. I need to keep checking it, but it works most of the time. It's just always this frustration, okay, that it doesn't work all the time. So basically it's broken. But nevertheless, it's there, can work, and we can use it. So now, what do we do with this? The idea here is, okay, we have this working for us. Now, what can we do if we create another one that can do different parts of the work? And then another one, and then another one. And that is the phase where we are moving into. So we are passing the part of mastering how to keep an architecture together to allow one single AI or a small team to work together, to now we need to build this architecture that is the swarm of AI. So when we have a lot of different AIs working in parallel to do different tasks inside the business. And instead of thinking, I need one agent, you start realizing that you need a team of agents working together. This is for different reasons. So if we have one single agent, what we have is that agent can become biased, can be hallucinating, can be getting lost, can the risk is that it needs to manage so many things that it become unreliable. So when you have a team, instead you can divide the job for each team member, and they can work in parallel and together. So, for example, the structure that we can use can be copied by the human, where I am the chief leader, and I work with one single AI. This single AI is I call it augmenter. This AI that allow me to be augmented, and this AI interface with the managers of each team. Okay, so we created this structure where my work is to be the strategist, the one that works at the top level. And then I delegate to the one single AI that I can trust, and that single AI that I can trust has a team of other AIs. And it doesn't work with each one of them. What it does, it works with the manager of each of those agency. So those agency have their team and their leader. Now, the leader is the one that does the manager of the agency. So, what are the agency that we need? Because if we build this structure, and we need a structure where one business help each other, so they can leverage on each other. So, what kind of business structure we need? So I did some thinking, and probably there is more, and depend of what kind of field you work in, what kind of job you want to cover, and so on. But in theory, most of us will need similar things. And I already discussed this in a previous video, but I'm gonna just share some ideas again. So if I think to build anything, I need a system that can give me data, quality data, and analysis of this data, so I can make data-driven decision. Okay, so before I start anything, let's collect data. So the first agency that I need to build is the agency that collect and analyze data. So now I have this agency that can serve me, in the sense, can give me the knowledge needed to make the correct decision. Build that one first. Second, we need an agency that does strategy and consultancy. So what do I mean? It's okay, now it's just me with this data. I need to debate this data. I need to expand on this data. I need to find the blind spots. I need a team of AIs that what they do, they work on this idea. Okay, they start stress testing this idea. So I have the data, I write down my idea. Now this idea is a series of blocks. I can give those blocks to this strategy and the consultancy agency, and this is gonna do some work on it, like a stress test, find knowledge gap, find the blind spots, give me the knowledge that I don't have to actually resolve whatever kind of problem that I have in mind. So that one now can leverage on data collection and analysis to actually fill the gap that were not filled at the beginning. And that is the second agency. Now we need a third agency, that is management and architecture. This agency is the one that trying to understand, okay, this is, for example, the business you want to build. Now let's divide this business in parts so we can manage it. Because the problem here is, if you have everything at once, okay, every one massive element, it's really easy to get lost. But instead, if you split in parts, then it's easy to control. It's like moving from analog to digital. Okay, it's the idea of analog is really fluid. It's a beautiful but hard to measure. Instead, the digital is become compartmentalized, and then you can measure it, each part of it. So that is the job that this agency needs to do, and build an architecture that works specifically for that kind of business. That is the third agency. So what after that one? We need a software development and testing agents and software testing agents. So what we do is we we need to build. Okay, now we have this. We collect the data, we create a strategy, we have an architecture to manage it, and now we need to build it. So the software development does this. Okay, now we have exactly how it needs to work. We have all the logic, all the architecture that we need. Now let's build it. So this fourth agency build the software and then test it. Then after the agency, what we need is marketing and PR, because whatever software we build, whatever app, whatever service, whatever business, we need to promote it. So marketing and PR. So now you have again a series of AI that can work on this department, and they will first of all strategize. Of course, they can again use the strategy and consultancy. They can use the data collection and analysis and so on to actually develop themselves, their structure. What we need is a lot of different action, but what is the right action for your business is something that there is a marketing research that needs to be done, because each business works in a different way. For just to give you an example, if you are I don't know, a traveling agency, you want to leverage Instagram because it's really pushed towards images. So you want to show those places, you want to show this lifestyle. So it is all about create that kind of content. That is the direction for the marketing. We'll make those decisions and design what kind of a branding, what kind of message, what kind of voice you need to use, all those things, and then give these to the next agency, that is content creation. So you need a specialized team that create text, video, photos, audio if it's needed, and so on, because you need content to do the marketing. And then there is the last one, which is legal and compliance. This is the most boring one, at least for me. But you need to be sure that what you're doing is done properly. So you have a team that then analyze the whole thing and keep checking and keep stay updated with the law and compliance, and be sure that you actually what you're doing is legally correct and what are the risks and so on. So this legal and compliance, it's basically a risk management agency that help you to stay in line, but also prepare for potential risks. So think about those 7 agencies that are probably needed for any kind of business. Okay, everybody of us needs those agencies. Now there is a different approach on how to look into this. First of all, there are going to be already other corporations that offer those kind of services. Maybe as a one single, maybe they don't explain the package. They sell it as a, look, this AI does work for your business, does everything. Okay, and most of AI do this. It's just because they have the ability of work to do all of this, but they are not structured in a way that this is explicit. So what's the move forward now? Let's go back to the original problem. We have an AI that almost does what we ask. Okay, now if we turn from 1 to 7 and each one of them do something that almost is done, meaning there's always going to be something that is broken, always. Is because if one every now and then do something that is not correct, think about 7, the chance that something is not done correct, it really grows exponentially. So, but this is the reality. So remember this reality. That is the challenge we have. This is the phase we are moving inside. What do we need to do in this phase? So we need to be first aware about the limits. Okay, this is the reality. What is gonna change is new model gonna come up. Okay, when there is a new model means new capabilities, and with that capabilities you can create a different kind of architecture, you can create a different kind of level of trust. You need to adjust part of the architecture that is going to become more and more reliable. This is the work. Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot, because the speed of which new model, new papers come out is extremely fast. So the ability of adjusting this at speed, it makes the difference. Now, what's my strategy? So my strategy here is, if you've been following this channel, you know I've been building ResonantOS, which is an operation system for OpenClaw, but can work also on other platform. But so how does it work? It's basically an extra layer of harness that control over OpenClaw in a way that can be trusted, with protocols, with better memory, with injection and basically context architecture of the system itself, and some other an interface that you can have a clear idea of what's going on, and so on. So what it gives you? It gives you a higher level of control over the OpenClaw and stay 100% compatible with it. Then now we have something that is more powerful, something that we can trust. Now what is needed is to start building those other elements inside. Those are, we can call it like add-ons. I already started with the coding, the software development add-on, which we can leverage a lot of different harnesses inside. For example, there is these, I mean, at the beginning I was using Codex, because Codex has, first of all, it's really good, but it's also open source, and third, with only $20 a month through subscription of OpenAI, you actually have a system that is pretty solid for the price. So makes total sense. But what I'm now migrating to, because that is the journey with ResonantOS, is to become more and more sovereign, more and more working with open source models and local models. What I'm building now is this agency that utilize this Claw code. Okay, Claw code is this open source version of Cloud code. Because if you're not aware, it's been released by mistake by Anthropic, so it's been the code become basically public. People look at the code, and what they did, they refactor it in a different language, so now it become basically open source, legal to use, and it is also, I find it morally correct to use. In the sense, Anthropic is being copying the human knowledge, is being copying the open source community, but it's not giving anything back to them. Actually, it's trying to block the open source community by making no legal to use their models through Cloud Max subscription to run, for example, OpenClaw. So I'm good with it, and we can use it. And but what we are building now, it's this agency. The leverage is really powerful coding harness, and to run with the local model. Beautiful. So I'm building that one. But then my next step is to go through the strategy of building each one of them. At the moment, I already started also the data collection and analysis. Why I'm sharing, why I'm telling you this thing? Because what I'm building is through open source. So I want to share those things, because we don't need to build it 100 times. It's better than we build it once. It's not even open source in the sense the ResonantOS works with a different kind of license. The moment that you use it, you become co-owner. Okay, so we co-own this software together. And the fact that you co-own it, now you have also the incentive of building together. Now, If we as a community, we start co-owning this infrastructure, we start, instead of building, you know, thousands of different versions, all of them half broken, we build one and we tested and improved together, and we have one version that we all co-own and is much more powerful. That is the idea. So those 7 first, I think, agency that we need to build are agency that probably each one of us will use. Then will be some agency that are going to be a little bit different for specific scenario. Okay, and let's say, just to give an example, let's say, for example, there is some of us that really just need the content creation agency that does video specifically for TikTok, let's say. So that is a specific kind of agent, is a niche kind of agency that can be built and can be part of those add-ons of ResonantOS that people can use. So there is no limit of what we can build. What it makes sense is to build in a way that we are all compatible, so we can all leverage each other innovation. Because the point, the business model is, now I'm going into this business model is such a long talk, but to clarify, so we are moving from a society where software used to have value, okay, to a software that is going to be built on demand. So the idea of having this be proprietary of a software, it's actually is not a good idea anymore. So it doesn't make sense as an individual, as a company, to own software. That is, if that is your business model, it's going to die really soon. Because soon we are going to have, we already have, but think about the future, the near future, AI that can just analyze your software and say, I'm going to clone it. Okay, I'm going to write a new, they are going to have the exact same functionality with different code built by my own AI. Okay, at home, a couple of hours and I got the software. So that software that you've been building has no value. But what's the difference here? If we have instead a co-owned software, is completely different, because now we are not spending token to clone someone else, but we are investing token in improving what we all already have. So we keep building on top. So we removed the business model that was about competition, but we added the business model where it is about, you know, collaboration. Now with this business model of collaboration, where we all are owner of this, we can do so much. Okay, so that is insane. The think about, you know, as an individual I can do, I don't know, just say, I know I can spend 1,000 tokens a month, just to say a number. Okay, so as a community of 1,000 people, okay, as 100,000, can you see the power here? So if we get together, the amount of computing that we can invest directly in our co-owned software can be similar to those huge corporations. Okay, but with a massive difference. The intent is different. So while they're investing billions in replacing human, we are investing our own tokens, but as a collective, maybe the same amount. But it's not, it doesn't even need the same amount, because we are collective intelligence, so we can do better with less money. But we are investing tokens to build a reality that is not replacing us, but it's augmenting us. Because the goal is not to replace me. I want to keep living. Okay, my business model is to, you know, enjoy life, do what I like, and so on. So now we build with a different philosophy where we can delegate, of course, to AI, but stay in control. Instead of what they're building is to completely remove humans from work. Okay, that is total replacement of human work through AI and through robotics. That is the direction where they're pushing, where they're investing. So just for this reason, our collective investment is much more successful, because the intent is a better one for us. Okay, so at one point you will see that they are going in a path that is no longer interesting to for us. We already see it. Okay, and I'm gonna say why, because I personally see it, but we can build something that is actually in line with us and is not gonna get away from us because it's part of how we want to build it. So look for example, Anthropic. It just came out with this new model called Mythos. So powerful. Okay, it's so powerful that it's dangerous, and because it can find vulnerability inside the other software. So because it's so dangerous, so powerful, they're not gonna give it to us. They're gonna keep it for themselves, give it to their friends, give it to the company that can use it to not wrongly but correctly implement fixes to major software, so nobody get uh, attacked through these vulnerabilities. So on one side, the idea of, okay, let's protect, okay, from attack, it's a good call. Okay, you say, okay, this is the call of the father that needs to protect the family. So I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna protect. I'm not gonna give you this tool because it's too dangerous for you. At the same time, without us, the kids, okay, that they can't test, cannot use this dangerous tool, they will never grow, because you grow through going through mistakes, go through pain, when you start using the bicycle, you are not good. So you need to get this tool that for you is dangerous, and you need maybe your parents to help you to do just the beginning, but this doesn't guarantee that you're not gonna drop. Okay, so you are gonna need to learn to cycle with that tool. And we as a society, we cannot be protected like they say, because that is not protection. That is two-class citizen, the one that have access to those super powerful AI and those that don't. That's what is being built. So the excuse of it's too powerful for you, let me decide it. Okay, no, if someone else is deciding for you, that is not freedom. That is not for you. Okay, they are not working for you. So that is what we need to build. So it is getting more and more evident that we need to build this alternative. And the only way to align ourselves is to build something that we co-own. I'm telling you, ResonantOS is available. You can test it. We can improve it together. It's an alpha, so meaning he has problems on some system, works on some other, doesn't turn on at all. So we are working together with a team of people, team of inside the community, that we are building to make it more and more stable. But what we need to do is to carry on working. We can't expect the system to be completely stable, because it's impossible at the moment. So we can have two options. We wait for the day that the AI is going to be stable, or we design this AI together with everybody else that is doing this thing with an AI that is basically half broken, that doesn't follow instruction, that is it's just really, really upsetting. But that is the reality. So we can be all observing this happening, and allow other people to make decisions for us, or we get into the fight and try to work it out, okay, to make it work in the way that we want. I'm for the second part, of course. I'm building, and it's also rewarding and fun, because working at this edge of knowledge of AI, everything you touch is something new, it's something to explore, understand, and there is. Let me explain this thing, because it's most people think this is a tech thing. Okay, it's just for coders and people that do coding. They have that kind of mentality. In reality, there is so much philosophy in this that is unbelievable. Okay, there is so many other elements that are connected together, because the drive of building a decentralized ownership, okay, it doesn't come from technology. It comes from a vision of seeing, okay, of social justice, for example, of the idea of collecting intelligence, of the idea of not the monoculture that is getting imposed from those corporation to the majority of people. So the drive of moving inside towards a specific direction is not technology. is philosophy, and that is what I called augmentatism, is the philosophy of human AI working together, where AI job is to augment human, not replacing. So if you are interested about the philosophy, it's called Augmentatism. You can find it on augmentatism.com, link below. I'm also gonna link a deep dive article where you can read more about those agency, the plan, where we are at the moment. So everything that we've been discussing in this podcast. Thanks for staying until the end. Join the Discord community. We are over 650 people building together and discussing the future of AI. Like and subscribe, watch the next video, and see you later.